When I was very, very small, the Catholic school made an announcement that they had extra room in the first grade. I was only 5 years old, but if I would come and take a test, and if I passed it, I could enter first grade at age 5, which happened. So I was always, throughout all the grades, I was always young for the grade. But I loved school very much. And every time I would come home, I'd always want to be teaching the kids in the neighborhood and all my little sister. And so I knew from the very first grade on that I was born to be a teacher. And I didn't know how that was going to happen, but it happened. I did become a teacher. I came to the convent through the help of Sister Marie Jo Quapple. She was my 10th grade teacher, and she kind of felt that I had a vocation. So at age 15, I asked my parents if I could come. They weren't too happy about it because they thought I was too young. And so then finally Sister Marie Jo said, well, are you coming or aren't you? And so I had to put pressure on my mother and dad, and they said, okay. And so at age 15, my dad drove me here to Racine, and I stayed all these many 70 years, plus 4 more for the training part. I was sent out to teach in Kimberly, Wisconsin, and Dominican College wanted to send some of their practicing teachers over to me to help get these young people get going on their teaching profession. So I trained in 4 practicing teachers, all of whom had their college degree before I ever had mine. It took me 18 summers to finish my undergrad and graduate degrees. I started teaching full-time 55 first graders in Kimberly at age 19. That's the way things were done in the old days. After teaching in South Milwaukee, I decided I was getting pretty tired teaching primary grades, and I wanted to work with children, but not all day long in with one class. So I took a job at the Oak Creek Public Library in Oak Creek, and I was the children's program director there. Even though I had no library training, the director there wanted someone to work with children. And that was just a great job for me because it opened up many, many things for me. While I was there, I had 5 classes of preschoolers, little 4-year-olds, getting them ready for kindergarten. Also did many programs with the 13 schools of the area. They would travel by bus to the library. I had a nice big room to work in, and we did all kinds of things. Of course, we had stories, we had books, storytelling, puppets, movies, and dancing, art. We did all kinds of things with the children. So I was working at the Oak Creek Public Library. I got involved with the Catholic Library Association. I became the National Children's Director for 7 years. There was a lady speaking up on the podium. She said, how it helped children in the middle grades especially to read. Well, I taught primary grades most of my life. Anyway, at the end of the meeting, at the end of her talk, I got up and I said, I want to thank you. I said, I've done choral speaking for so many years with the children, and I said, it has just an indefinite amount of value to it. Well, it was time to go to the next talk, and all of a sudden I'm running out of picked up my bag and was running to the next talk, and there was a man blocking my way at the end of the row. And he came up to me and he said, I heard what you just said. And I said, what did I say? And he said, you talked about choral speaking? He said, I'm David Lorscher from Teacher Ideas Press in Colorado. He said, I'm the senior editor there. He said, would you be interested in writing a book on choral speaking? Well, who comes up to somebody and says, would you be interested in writing a book for us. And I said, you're kidding. He said, no. He said, we don't have anything on choral speaking because nothing has been written on choral speaking in many years. And so I explained to him that, yeah, I would be very interested in writing a book on choral speaking for you. And so he said, you'll be hearing from me a few days after this convention is over. And so he walked away and I walked away to my next talk and I said, is this real? I said, this can't be real. Well, anyway, it was real. I did get a call from him shortly after I got home, and he said, go ahead and do it. He said, write the proposal. And I spent 3 weeks writing that proposal. I made it so definite and so that the people who read it would understand it. And so after 3 weeks, he called me on the phone and offered me the contract over the phone. He said, get going. And so I did. And about a year and a few months later, I had the book already and it was published. It was reprinted 3 times. And then that opened up a lot of opportunities for me because then I could. I got a job at Cardinal Stritch College in the summer, teaching choral speaking to teachers so that they could do it with their children. After the 14 years that I lived at St. John's in South Milwaukee, I still worked in the Oak Creek Public Library, but I moved to another home, another large convent in Milwaukee. It was an inter-community living experience. I was there 19 years, and I lived with a group of many sisters. The Poor Handmaids from Donaldson, Indiana, owned this convent. And there were poor handmaids there, Dominicans, Franciscans, Salvatorians, Notre Dames, and a few other individuals, community. It's very interesting to see how much more we are alike than we are different as communities. So it was a wonderful living experience for me. When I became 65 years old, I went to take care of my parents. I lived down in Indianapolis for 9 years, and then a year and a half after I moved down there, my dad died. It was a difficult time. Then I was taking care of Mom. After Dad died, Mom stayed with Joyce a couple of years, and then I moved Mom in with me. After 6 years, I moved Mom to Racine. She was 101 at the time. And I remember her, I had her placed over at St. Monica's. And I remember her saying to the director at St. Monica's, "Ma, you got a lot of old people in here." She didn't realize that she was the oldest. I became the chair of the Society Focus Committee, and we had 3 Women of the Year celebrations during that time. That was a nice experience. I joined the choir here at Sienna Center, so I've been involved in choir ever since 2007. I also joined the Human Trafficking Coalition that started here in Racine, Wisconsin. I was on the board for 3 different years, and we were very involved in doing whatever we could to teach people about human trafficking and how to stop it. I received an award from the Racine Police Department. I accepted this award on behalf of our whole community, but also on behalf of the police that put their lives in danger. I like to make decorations. I like to read. I like sewing, singing, listening to music, making jewelry for the gift shop. I like to color, and I like working word puzzles and crafting. I hope the Ukrainian war ends very soon, and I hope the COVID virus disappears. And I hope Siena on the Lake will be an open campus sooner than later. Stay engaged. Life is worth living. It's been a wonderful life for me, and therefore I know that, if you would enter, you could make it a wonderful life for yourself too.